that of course there's no prophet. He says that there's no prophet after me, but that the only thing that remains of prophecy are righteous dreams, a ru'ya al sadiqa or a ru'ya al salihah. This is the only thing that remains of the unseen of the the prophecy, the news of the unseen, and it's one of the aspects that remains, the righteous dream. So the dream interpretation, it's something that's given regard in Islam, right? And if everyone, and so in talking about this briefly, so for example, if anyone has a dream that's very, very powerful, and it's like feels like it's something significant, powerful, and it's also repeats itself over and over again, maybe once, maybe not once, but 2, 3 times, 4 times, and you keep on seeing the same dream more often. We can say if you're seeing the same dream over and over again, you should get it interpreted. There's probably something there. Allah is speaking to you, or the angels are speaking to you, right? So the dream interpretation, it's sort of, Allah is basically saying, amongst other things, dreams are real in terms of them giving you a window into the unseen, or a window into your own identity, for example. So Allah is affirming that here in the surah as well, right? With this, another thing that we see, that the science of dreams is one that we have to be careful with, and it's one that we have to maintain the prophetic methodology with interpretation of dreams. That's another sort of sub theme between. So we have the theme of dreams in general, and we're gonna see subcategories within that theme itself. So one of those subcategories is that dreams are a sign of Allah, and they're a sign of His oneness. And dreams, we use them to affirm our belief in God, and to increase our iman, and also to clarify certain affairs, clarify affairs concerning our relationship with Allah. This is what dreams are for. And this is important because there are some people who claim to interpret dreams, but they're really just charlatans, liars. People who, give me $50 or $100 or maybe 1,000, whatever it is, I'll interpret your dream for you. We have people like this, people who want to take advantage of the Muslims, right? And very unfortunate, but you have people who do that. So it's important that with dreams, accompanied with dream interpretation, basically that the dream interpretation has to be born out of an Islamic perspective, an Islamic aqidah, an Islamic narrative, that you're using this dream. The dream is meant to affirm your relationship with Allah, right? It's not meant to be something, it's not a joyride, right? It's not fortune telling, right? It's not soothsaying, even though in our day and age, this is what some people want to turn dream interpretation into, right? So what some people want to turn it into, and we have to be very, very careful of that. Okay, so let's start with the story. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So Yusuf, the first dream that Yusuf sees, and he is basically made to interpret, it's sort of thrust upon him, right? And the dreams are things that are thrusted upon us. They're either thrusted upon us by Allah or by the angels, right? So they're thrust upon us. Because you can't, for example, a person doesn't really dream willingly. You don't go to bed and say, I want to dream of being in Jannah. You don't will it yourself, right? It's something that it's thrust into your heart, either by Allah or the angels, or dark side of affairs, the nafs and shaitan. But of course, that's something that we're not going to explore that right now. But we're talking about the dreams that are inspirations from Allah or from the malaika, the angels. And that's also a job of the angels for those amongst in our community who are interested in talking about angels. The dreams is one of the dreams, and giving dreams and sort of giving inspiration by way of dreams. This is one of the functions of the angels, something that they do. And the angels, they will deliver the dream. And whether how you know it's a dream from an angel is that you see something beautiful, right? And it's something that comforts you. This is a sign that it's from the angels. So Allah, He says, قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَاكَ عَلَىٰ well, excuse me, let me backtrack. Sorry. إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر وَرَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. He says, Yusuf says to his father, "Oh my father, indeed I have seen 11 planets and the Shams and the Qamar bowing to me. I saw them bowing to me, them submitting themselves to me." Right? So Yusuf's father, of course, the interpretation of the dream is that Yusuf, of course, if these heavenly bodies are submitting themselves to you, this is a sign of that you're going to have some sort of prominent role in history or prominent role in governing, or the sort of thing that people will look to you for guidance and you will be in charge and so on and so forth. People will submit themselves to you. This is the general interpretation of the dream, even though we're going to get a particular and specific interpretation of the dream later on, right? I don't want to spoil it now, but it comes towards the end of Surah Yusuf, where we see the particular interpretation of the dream. What are the planets? What's the sun? What's the moon? What is that about? What's all that about, right? So, but in general, we stick with the general interpretation now. We'll go to the specific one later. His father says to him, and this is an important lesson, if you have dreams of this nature, if you have dreams, right, you should follow this advice. قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك عليك فيكيدوا لك كيدا. Oh my son, don't tell you this ru'ya, or this dream, this righteous vision that you've seen, don't tell it to your brothers, don't tell your siblings, right? Because they will plot against you, right? So here it's a general thing. We're not saying that siblings will plot against siblings. It's more general than that. That you only tell your dreams to people who you're sure you can trust. Dreams are like an inner aspect to your own identity and your own future. So you want to tell someone who you can trust. Don't tell any Tom, Dick, or Harry just on the street, or any fortune teller, like many people do in our times, actually. I have stories of people who I consider to be very intelligent, smart people, university educated, had a fairly rudimentary understanding of Islam, and they go to fortune tellers to interpret things for them. It's crazy. This is can be considered to be disbelief, actually. Going to see a fortune teller, so can help you figure things out. We don't go to fortune tellers as Muslims. It's considered to be, you go to a fortune teller and you believe what they tell you, this is actually kufr, disbelief, hadith. Right? So we want to be very, very careful. We don't tell just anyone. I mean, most people nowadays, they will just sort of brush you off as being some sort of, crazy person. I don't care about your dream. Or, if it's something beautiful, worse yet, some people will get jealous, right? Unfortunately, some people will get jealous, right? And Yusuf's brothers, another theme of the surah is that they are very jealous of him, and the effects of jealousy, right? The effects of jealousy. This is another major theme in the surah. We finish this ayah with Allah. He says, "Inna shaytana lil insani aduwwun mubin." So the shaitan, he's also in this realm of affairs. So you have good dreams and you have good hopes, a good vision, a beautiful vision, but you have shaitan, who is like he is like, if you wanted a poster boy for the jealous one, it'd be Iblis, shaitan, right? Instead, if you want to know how shaitan looks, just imagine the ugliest person you can imagine upon earth. This is Iblis. This is what the ulama say. Iblis, very completely hideous. This is Iblis. I'm not making that up. This is ulama, they say this because he's been cursed, and the curse manifests with him being looking very, very like scoundrel, disgusting, just looking despicable, just looking really, really ugly. This is Iblis. But he's like an avowed enemy to the human being, clear enemy. So he hides in plain sight. This is Iblis. So Ishaq, who of course, Yaqub, who is the son of Ishaq, and Ishaq is of course Ibrahim's son. So we have Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf. Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf. This is the lineage. So Yaqub tells his son, like this, your Lord is choosing you, and he will eventually teach you the interpretation of events. The interpretation of events, right? That Yusuf becomes amongst the people who have this art of tawassum. Tawassum is that you're able to interpret events, that you see things happening, you see events going on in the world, right? in both the world of meaning, dreams, right, or in the physical world, you know what things mean. You're not confused. You see the apparent things, and you see beyond the apparent into the real meanings. What does this really mean, right? So these are the people who are called the people of tawassum, of deep insight, that they see through just the surface. We said in our modern day world that we are encouraged to be people who are surface oriented strictly. That we don't see beyond the surface of a thing. We just see the material, and we just grab it, hold on to it, put it in our hearts, and so on and so forth. And we just love the material. We don't see the beyond. We don't see the akhirah. We don't see Allah. We don't see Him as the provider. It's a very sad state of affairs to be in. So what the narrative of light that we talked about before, that narrative, it calls people of tawassum, people who are able to do ta'weel, people who are able to interpret, to understand, to intellectualize, to see beyond the shadow, and not to be deceived by the shadow caster, shaitan, the deceiver, the ultimate deceiver, the bag of tricks. That we recognize the bag of tricks when they come. We can sort of hear the bag of tricks like a bag of tools. We hear shaitan coming. That may sound exaggeration, but really, we have to be able to sense that. And when you increase in your iman, you pick up the ability to even sense Iblis and his presence. And immediately you say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, you feel it dissipate, right? Because shaitan, this is his relationship to us, that we seek Allah's refuge from him, and then we are given the refuge. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so we're going to fast forward here. So Yusuf, of course, like his father predicted, become jealous, and they plan to throw him, or basically feed him to a wolf. They're going to feed him to a wolf. But one of the brothers says, no, that's a bad idea. I have a better idea. We're going to throw him into a well and have him be sold into slavery. So at first they wanted to kill him, but the better of the two ideas, right, was that they're going to throw him in a well and just leave him to be sold into slavery. So we see how shaitan effectively comes into families and destroys families, right? Whether it's between husband and wife, brother and sister, brother and brother, sister and sister, and so on and so forth. Shaitan, he lives in these interstices. He lives in these cross connections between the silat al-arham, in our interpersonal relationships. He lives there just to try to pull people apart. Because right, once we get pulled apart, we then become like the lone sheep, right? The lonely sheep that he can attack and try to eat and drag you down into hellfire. This is what shaitan wants. So we have to be careful with not letting him do that, and really hold on to our family bonds and ties the best way we can. Actually, I remind myself and all of you that Ramadan is actually a time for connecting with our loved ones, connecting with our next of kin, connecting with our mother, father, sister, brother, even cousins, aunts, uncles. This is an important thing to do in Ramadan, and it leads to blessing in life and barakah in rizq, and it leads to being blessed in your sustenance. So the brothers, they decide to throw him in a well, and the idea is that once we get rid of Yusuf, our father will then love us. This is what shaitan inspires them to do. Shaitan tells them, your father doesn't love you, he only loves Yusuf. He only loves Yusuf. So get rid of Yusuf,